Good morning on this beautiful Monday morning here in Kingman Brack. This morning I'd like to share a portion of scripture from you. I want to read from Isaiah chapter 6. It says, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. And then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hands, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And then said I, Here am I. Send me." This is an intriguing and interesting passage of Scripture. Isaiah the prophet of woe had just come from the funeral of his cousin King Uzziah when he had this amazing encounter with God. In the first 5 chapters of the book, all Isaiah could seem to see was what was wrong. His message was woe this and woe that. But then he came face to face with God, and he was changed from a prophet of woe into a prophet of the presence. For the next 60 chapters, he gives amazing prophecies of what God is going to do. Major portions of his prophecies center on God coming to earth, so much so that we say Isaiah is the gospel of the Old Testament, and he is the prophet of the Messiah. But what struck me as I looked at this passage this morning was the fact that Isaiah was a prophet. How many times had he been to church before his Isaiah 6 encounter with God? How many messages had he preached before he finally saw God high and lifted up? If this was the case for the prophet of God who had devoted his life to God's service, what are we to wonder about the people who come to the temple occasionally or even routinely? God has never left his throne. God has never been late to church. He's certainly never skipped church. He's right there listening to us, watching us go through our same old routine again and again and again, while wondering, when are they going to see me? When, if we do encounter him, we'll then see ourselves and we'll cry, Woe is me, for I am undone. And then in humble gratitude say, Here am I, send me. And my prayer is that this will happen soon and often for me, for my family, and for all of our church people. I trust that this is your supreme desire as well. God bless you as you endeavor to serve him today. Live carefully in his presence. Search for a closer walk with him. Do your best in all that you do or say to be pleasing in his sight.